woke up this morning with my mind
Stayed on freedom.
Oh yeah, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Till I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Now I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind. You know that we are stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. There ain't no harm in your mind. Stay on freedom. Oh yeah, there ain't no harm in your mind. Stay on freedom. Ain't no harm in your mind. Stay on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
All over the city, so it'd be a panel, a board with 13 representatives, and groups of 3 would hear cases
With your mind on freedom.
we do, yeah.
With your mind on freedom. Now I'm singing and shouting with my mind. Yeah, stay on freedom. Singing and shouting with my mind. Stay on freedom. Singing and shouting with my mind. You know that we are stayed on freedom.
So just walk up to the stage.
Hallelujah, 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 Now I'd ask you to come out to the front, but it is too hot for that, so enjoy the shade where you can get it. But sing along with us and welcoming the marchers. We're coming over the Brooklyn Bridge. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching out to freedom land. Ain't gonna let us haters turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let us haters turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching out to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no cages turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no cages turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching out to freedom land. Ain't gonna let racism turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let racism turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on walking. Oh, keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on walking, talking, yeah. Marching up to freedom. when there is light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is honor in the nation. When there is honor in the nation, there is peace in the world. When there is light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is honor in the nation. There is honor in the nation. Well, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. Took back my dignity, took it back. Well, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. He's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. Ain't gonna let the system walk all over me. Jailhouse. Well, I went down to the jailhouse and I took back what he stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. My humanity. Well, I went down to the jailhouse and I took back what he stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. My humanity. Now he's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. But let the system walk all over me. Well, the border and I took back what they stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. My humanity. Well, I went down to the border and I took back what they stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. My humanity. Now he's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. Ain't gonna let the system walk all over me. Oh, now where did you go? I went down to the White House and I took back what they stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. My humanity. Well, I went down to the White House and I took back what they stole from me. Took it back. My dignity. Took it back. My humanity. Now he's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. Ain't gonna let the system walk all over me. One more time. Now he's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. Ain't gonna let the system walk all over me. One more time, we are the Resistance Revival Chorus. And we believe that when you are fighting for what is right, there is joy in that fight. So we will joyfully fight every single day.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate, no fear.
Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
All right, we have one last song for you. Thank you all for coming out today.
Thank you.
We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mothers' sons is as important as the killing of white men, white mothers' sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing the light just to shine on me. I need to be just one in a number as we stand against tyranny. To me, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. If I could just shine a light on as they carry us through the gale. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard. At times I can be quite difficult. I'll bow to no man's word. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe we cannot rest. We who believe cannot rest. We who believe we cannot rest. We cannot rest. We who believe cannot rest. We who believe we 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 will not 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 rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
Folks need any water? Anybody need water? Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody need water? Yeah. Anybody need water? Anybody at all?
The Trump administration is laser focused on attacking our communities and waging war on Black and brown families. Since they've taken office, the Trump administration has escalated its attacks on immigrants, detaining and deporting our families and community members without regard to due process. We must stop the deportation machine. They also instituted the racist, Islamophobic, and bigoted Muslim ban, which this week was upheld by the Supreme Court. We must continue to demand no Muslim ban ever. They've attacked our brothers and sisters in labor and are trying to destroy the middle class. We must demand that everyone has access to fair paying and safe jobs. They've neglected our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters who are facing the worst catastrophe the island has seen in our lifetime. This administration has the blood of over 5,000 Puerto Ricans on their hands. This is murder. 2 months ago, Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions began separating families and snatching children away from their moms and dads. Children, babies as young as 9 months old, taken away and put into cages, wailing. Our nation is at a crossroads. Do we allow this horrid and immoral administration to continue to destroy families and communities, or do we stand and demand an end to the war being waged against us? Our demand is clear, and it's non-negotiable. Reunite families now and end family separation, detention, and incarceration. Brothers and sisters, we need you. We need you now more than ever before. There is no if they come for us moment to wait for. They have already come for us. They have come for the Muslims, the immigrants, the parents, the babies, the LGBTQI community. I need you to fight for all of our families, neighbors, and communities. They will continue to come for us, but we must continue to resist. I need you right now to commit to these 4 action steps to take. Step 1, stay up to date. Policies change quickly. Crises arise overnight. So I need you to do one thing for me right now. Take out your cell phones and put them in the air so I can see them. All right, almost everyone that has it out. Now open up your phone and you're gonna text NYIC to the number 864237. Again, you're texting NYIC to the number 864237 so you can receive our action alerts to mobilize to the streets the next time they come for our families and communities. Step 2, call your congressional representatives. Demand an end to family separation and incarceration. Step 3, support organizations on the ground. Donate, volunteer, show up every time you see injustice. And step 4, and most importantly, make sure you go out this November and vote. We must elect state representatives and members of Congress that share our values, as they are there to represent us, the people. And vote in the primaries. The front line of resistance has never looked so fierce in 100-degree weather right now. I want to thank today's anchors who helped us make today such a success, especially 1199 SCIU. Let's give it up for them. Empire State Indivisible, Neighbors Link, 32BJ SCIU, Atlas DIY, Make the Road New York, Corrayson, and the New York Civil Liberties Union, and the well over 110 organizational co-sponsors. We have an amazing lineup for you. Before we start our lineup, we had such an amazing turnout today that people, the last batch of folks in Foley Square just stepped off onto the bridge. So when they get here, cheer for them and the speakers who are about to come up. It is my honor to welcome Reverend Breyer and Imam Suhaib Webb to the stage. Reverend Breyer is an Episcopalian priest in the Diocese of New York and a part of the Interfaith Center of New York. Reverend Breyer has been a long-standing champion of immigrants in New York and was arrested alongside immigrant
When's her
community in the
birthday?
NYC last September.
When's her birthday?
When the administration terminated DACA.
His birthday?
Imam Sohaib Webb currently
September
serves as a
24th.
scholar in residence at the Islamic Center of
You were
NYU.
following him all
Imam
around and then he
Sohaib
turned
Webb
and
has
you were
served in various communities across North America and is the founder of
very
Swiss.
independent.
He frequently shares advice,
But then
lessons,
he became
and
so
Snap
appreciative
was
how he's hugging.
on Snapchat.
That's right.
Join me in welcoming
Right.
them with a strong round of applause.
Bye-bye.
When's your birthday?
Mine is in March.
What number?
15.
March 10.
The Interfaith Center of New York works with hundreds of grassroots religious leaders from all sorts of different traditions. And in 20 years, I have yet to find a single religious tradition or denomination that thinks the separation of families is anything other than diabolical. My own Episcopal bishop put this fine point on it, that this tsunami of human suffering is being imposed to leverage political ends is pure evil and must be named as such. Last week I was with some faith leaders up in the Bronx, and we went to visit a shelter where some of the younger children were being held who'd been separated from their families. The man there who wouldn't allow our assembly member in said that these children we shouldn't worry about so much because they were being treated like other foster care children. Like other foster care children, except our government and our tax money made them orphans to begin with. We have been here as a country before. We have seen and been part of the legacy of the auction blocks and the separation of slave families. We have known that Native American children have been stolen from their communities and put in boarding schools. There we saw our churches in some way complicit with that. We also saw the Japanese internment camps. We are part of an ongoing experiment, however, and when I look out at this crowd today, I don't see what Jeff Sessions see. I don't see a group of fringe lunatics living in gated communities. In fact, I don't see any gated communities right now. What I see is you, Americans, people, New Yorkers of different faith traditions, different races, different social and economic backgrounds coming together to share the promise of a more perfect union and to work for it. So on the way over the bridge, I saw that the Statue of Liberty is still standing. And that those of you who are here today probably think those words on its base are not a fanciful dream, but rather something to aspire for as a nation. So God bless you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing up for families, and thank you for writing history yourselves, because no one else is going to do it for you. Amen.
What's up, Brooklyn? How y'all doing? Assalamu alaikum to everybody. It's great to be here. I'm gonna make this as quick as I can. Just 5 things to think about in the face of the destructions of families, people being pulled apart. As they're being pulled apart, we, regardless of our race, our religion, our background, our gender, our economic situation, we have formed the metaphoric family that will hold those families that have been broken together and speak on their behalf as though we are their family. And that is incredibly powerful. Because as I look at the audience today, I see believers, saints, sinners, heathens with impunity, and all of us are brought together because we love those families that have been separated. So there's 5 quick points that I'll try to make. because I think it would be silly not to take advantage of this moment and to work on ourselves and improve ourselves and change to get better. The first is the idea of repentance and recognition. In our spiritual tradition as Muslims, we believe that before there can be true repentance, there has to be recognition. And I find it problematic when I see people say, what have we become? What have we evolved to? The greater part of American history has been about using structural weapons to separate families. It's not about what we become. It's about who we are going to be. If we can't own our history, then we cannot truly repent for the sin committed. The second is repentance. And in Islamic theology, repentance is synonymous with disinvestment. So I'm speaking to my white folks because I'm white. I'm from Oklahoma. You can't get no whiter than Oklahoma. And I want to remind us that it has been our people who have been doing this to people of color. Either we are going to be Judas, who sold out Christ, or we're going to be Moses in the house of Pharaoh. And the last 3 points as I finish is resilience. I'll just give you the last point. I'll skip the other 3. Resilience, meaning that I have to see the synergy between Ahad Tamimi being separated from her family in Palestine, Black American children being separated from their fathers in the 90s because of a crime bill that targeted people of color, and what is happening today right now in Buffalo, New York, where some of these families are residing without their children. Resilience means to be transparent and honest in my repentance and my recognition. God bless you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, hi y'all. My name is Irma Barrios. I'm a proud member of Make the Road New York. And I am also a proud daughter of an undocumented woman. We're here because families like mine should not ever be ripped apart. So now repeat after me. Up, up with liberation. Down, down with deportation.
Down, down with deportation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down, down with deportation.
Down, down with deportation.
Okay, guys, you gotta be louder. Up with deportation. Oh. Sorry. Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down, down with deportation.
Down, down with deportation.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Irma. With migrant children continuing to arrive at our airports here in New York, there is no more important time than right now for us to lead. 50 years from now, it will be clear who were the champions for justice in one of our darkest hours. Coming up next is one of our strongest champions. Join me in welcoming Reverend Al Sharpton, who's an American civil rights activist, Baptist minister, television and radio host, and former advisor to President Barack Obama.
Thank you. Week before last, I went to McAllen, Texas, and I talked with some of the families that were being robbed of human dignity, where children was being snatched from the arms of their mothers for no other reason than the whims and the sins and wickedness of this president. We went as a gathering of Muslim and Jewish and Christian ministers. And I told them that, first of all, for the evangelicals to be supporting Trump is a walking oxymoron. If you read the Bible, whether you believe it or not, you can't change the story. The story said that an angel told Joseph to take the baby and flee, and he took Mary and the baby Jesus and fled into Egypt, where they sought refuge. So therefore, evangelicals, if you are real Christians, then you are like me. You serve a refugee from Bethlehem. Suppose if the king of Egypt had snatched the baby Jesus from the arms of Mary, then how can you today snatch babies from the mother's arms and sanctify the one that snatched it? Donald Trump is wrong, he's sinful, he's blatant, and we will not be quiet. So it is important in his hometown. This is where Trump came from. This is where he built buildings. This is where he discriminated in housing. But we send a message to you, Trump. This is what will make America great. Blacks and whites and Muslims and Jews and young and old, we're here in your hometown to say don't deport, don't break up families. We stand together. We are not going to let you take these children. I know it's hot out here, but it's hotter in these camps they're putting these children. It's hotter when a mother doesn't know where her baby is. It's hotter when 3-year-old children have to go in front of judges. It's hotter when we see separation. And we that come from a history of family separation, Jews who had families separated in Germany, blacks who had people separated on slave blocks, any family separation may not be the same, but it brings the same reaction. My name is Sharpton, not because that was my name, but because of family separation. And I'm not going to be quiet while you take a baby's dignity and take a baby's name and take a baby's history. Let us stand together. Let us fight together. Let us march together. Let us stay together. This is our time.
Let's give it up for Rebel Now Sharpton. Let's keep the cheering going because we have people coming into the park in steady streams. So all the marchers, welcome. A couple of housekeeping items. If you need water, we have a water bay across the street outside of the park. It's a bunch of water fountains. And if you need a bathroom, we have porta potties to my right and your left outside of the park. There is about 30 of them. They're 80. Some of them are ADA accessible. So, what's happened under the Trump administration's zero tolerance family separation policy in the last 3 weeks is reminiscent of some of the world's most horrifying acts of state violence. Practices that date back to the enslavement of Africans and the internment of Japanese Americans, all rooted in violent xenophobia, even as we whispered for decades, never again. The administration had a chance and a choice. Nothing it did or is doing is required by law. There is no humane way of detaining families. Family detention and separation, indefinite in detention camps, is both immoral and wrong. Now, I want to introduce to you someone who's very near and dear to my heart. I want you to welcome Ravi Ragbeer to the stage, the director of the New Sanctuary Coalition, a prominent leader in our community. In January of this year, ICE targeted and jailed Ravi for his community activism and leadership. At that moment, like today, New Yorkers took to the streets and earned his release from a federal judge who called ICE's action unnecessarily cruel. Today, Ravi is a nationally recognized leader in the immigrant rights movement. Let's give him a warm welcome to the stage.
I have to follow Reverend Chaplain. It's hot here, isn't it? It's hot here, not because of the sun, but because we are fired up. Because we are angry. Because we know that they are at war with us. They have shot the cannons over our fence. They have shot it. We have been seeing for the last 2 weeks, cannon after cannon coming at us. We are feeling battered because we see our community and our country, our society slowly disappearing before our eyes because of this administration. We look at who is in the administration, we look at the president, we look at the attorney general, and what is the first thing we know about them? They're racist. They're racist, let's be real, they're racist. And we know they are at war with us because when they submitted paperwork to end my deportation, to deport me, they said they war game every single step of my deportation. They war game it not because of me, but because of you, who stood on the streets and fought them, who stood up against them. And the reason I'm standing here today is because of you. They mobilized an army of resources. An army of resources. 10 police cars escorted me to the airport while I was in shackles. I was surrounded by 20 police officers every single minute while they sent me down to Florida. So we are at war, they know they are at war with us. I want to invoke Maxine Waters, who said that we have to go out and look for them, because when they make their policy and we are not able to sleep at night, we should make them know that they cannot sleep at night. When they leave their offices and they are standing out going to dinner, we have to shout at them and say, you are racist, and that you are bigots, and you are destroying our families. We are going to stand up and shout at them every day because they cannot sleep, because we cannot sleep. We are fired up. We are fired up. And the one question and one thing that we are asking for, well, we're asking for many things. But right now, the ICE officers, they don't want to bring people to court. They don't want to bring people to court who has been detained. And Murad here is telling me I have to shut up, right? They don't, but we want people back in court so that they can have due process. Yeah. So one of the things, we want due process, but more importantly, we want to abolish ICE. Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE! Abolish ICE!
Let's give it up for Ravi and the marchers who are still streaming into this park. Our next speaker needs no real introduction. Her name is Kerry Washington, an Emmy-nominated American actor, producer, and activist. Let's give her some love.
I know it's hot out here, but hold hands with somebody next to you. Grab hands with somebody, even if it's a stranger, even if it's somebody you never met before. You grab their hand and bring it up into the sky, and you repeat after me. Say, I matter. I matter. We matter. We matter. I am the people. I am the people. We are the people. We are the people. One more time. I matter. I matter. We matter. We matter. I am the people. I am the people. We are the people. We are the people. Cheer for yourselves. country, but I'm gonna tell you, I love this country not because it's perfect. This country is not perfect. Nobody I love is perfect. Nobody who loves me thinks that I'm perfect. I love this country because it has the potential to be a more perfect union. But you know what it needs to be a more perfect union? It needs you. It needs us. It needs to believe in the idea that we matter, every single one of us. I will not stand for what's happening at our border. It is a gross violation of human rights. We cannot stand for the violence that this administration is perpetuating against us day after day. But the gift of what they are doing, the gift of what they are doing is that intersectionality used to be a fancy term talked about by intellectuals. They are coming for so many of us that we have no choice but to know that we are stronger together. We have no choice but to know that every single one of us matters. And so when we say I matter, when we say we matter, we know that everybody is in that umbrella, that everybody belongs. This country comes from immigration. Slavery is a part of my legacy. I understand the legacy of family separation because slavery is a part of my story, and so is immigration. My grandparents on my mother's side came to this country through Ellis Island in the 30s from the Caribbean, and they came here like every immigrant, seeking better opportunities because of a lack of opportunity in their land, running from poverty, running from racism, running from a place where they couldn't fulfill a dream. I am the fulfillment of their dream, and I will not stand for somebody else turning this country further down the road of racism and disenfranchisement. Enough is enough. But I'm gonna warn you, as you stand out here today in this heat, I'm gonna warn you that this is a marathon. I need you to be strong. I need you not just today to stay hydrated, I need you to stay hydrated every day. I need you to get enough sleep. I need you to eat right. I need you to look out for your neighbors because this fight is going to be a long one, but it's going to be worth it. Because if we do our jobs in a representational democracy and we show up and we say we want to fulfill those first 3 words of our Constitution, we can transform the legacy of this nation. So one more time, hold hands up in the air. You say, I matter. I matter. We matter. We matter. I am the people. I am the people. We are the people. We are the people. If you will bear with me for 10 more seconds. I am here as a lot of things today. I'm here as an American. I'm here as a woman who's concerned about my ability to control my body. I'm here as the granddaughter of immigrants. I'm here as a member of a union. I am also here as a mother. And as a mother, I am outraged. So I wanted to do what I do in my day job, which is read other people's words. I want to read the words of another mother whose son was held in an immigration detention center. The names have been changed, but the words are hers. They're taken from an affidavit. My name is Margarita. I am the mother of Carlos, who is currently being held by the Office of Refugee Settlement in a detention center in Portland, Oregon. The first time I realized that Carlos had arrived in the United States was when I received a voicemail from him in which he told me he was being held in Kansas City. When I spoke with Carlos, I felt like my soul had returned to my body. I had spent nights without sleep, searching and searching for my son without knowing where he was. A torture, day by day. The case manager explained to me that he was going to send me some forms to apply to be my son's sponsor, and he asked me for many documents. I was also given a home check. The investigator assured me that in a week they would have results, and that for the new year, they would surely give me my son. I got so excited, I even brought some Christmas presents for my son. I have them still wrapped with Christmas wrapping paper. They give me deep sorrow every time I see them. First, they tell you that in a few weeks you will have your child, then in a month, then in another month, but they never fulfill their promises. With such delay, I have asked myself, what am I doing wrong? Have I not sent everything they asked from me? I want them to at least allow me to see him one day, if for a while. What mother would not want to have her son in her arms, if only for a moment? I want you to keep this mother and all of these families in your heart. This is about politics, but this is about people. So you keep this struggle close in your heart, and you stay strong for her, and you stay strong for you, and we'll stay strong for each other. God bless you. I love you. I'm back. The real reason I came today is that I get to introduce one of my heroes. And I got so emotional. I got embarrassed that I started having feelings and left the stage. Don't be embarrassed of your feelings, people. So I'm about to introduce an extraordinary activist. This woman blows my mind for what she does day to day to live up to the idea of this more perfect union. Her name is Rama Issa. She's a Syrian-American activist, community organizer, and the executive director of the Arab American Association of New York. Rama is someone who has been personally impacted by the Muslim ban. She represents a community of impacted folks from Syria, Yemen, and other banned countries. Rama and the AAANY have been the leading voice in fighting back the racist and Islamophobic Muslim and refugee ban since Trump's first executive order. Give it up for Rama Issa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rama Issa, and I'm an immigrant. I'm Syrian, and I was born and bred in America Latina. I'm here today because I'm directly impacted by the refugee and Muslim ban. Today marks 40 days since I lost my father in Damascus. My last conversation with him was over FaceTime, 4 days before he passed. I didn't really get a chance to say goodbye. My cousin, my brother, he's been a refugee in Vienna for the last 3 years. And in the United States, we've resettled 11 Syrians since January. 11! Members of my community have fled war-torn countries to seek prosperity and safety. The Muslim ban is now legalized, immoral, and inhumane policy of family separation. It is cruel. This administration is in the business of tearing our families apart. Hermanas y hermanos, nosotros vivimos bajo una sociedad donde nuestro gobierno quiere desnudarnos de nuestra humanidad. Nosotros los latinos y árabes y musulmanes no somos muy distintos en los ojos de esta administración. A ellos no nos conviene separar nuestras familias, porque para ellos nuestro poder colectivo es una amenaza a su orden y su supremacía blanca. My liberation, the liberation of my community, is directly tied to the liberation of these children at the border. It is directly tied to your liberation. Just this Thursday, I was amongst the 633 women who were arrested in Washington, D.C., demanding that our government abolishes ICE. determination that fear will not prevail. We are here to stay. We are here to love and protect one another. And we won't let anyone hurt our families or our communities. This movement is strong because we're in it together. Fuerza!
Let's give it up for Rama. I just want to tell you how beautiful this crowd looks. And I want you all to give another round of applause for the people still streaming in off the bridge. Let's give it up for the marchers who are joining us right now. My name is Murad Awauda. I'm the Vice President of Advocacy at the New York Immigration Coalition. And I want to welcome you all again to our rally. Next up, I want to introduce a fourth-generation leader of faith and social justice. Jennifer Jones Austin fights for equity. As the CEO of the Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies, FPWA, an anti-poverty policy and advocacy organization with more than 170 agencies, she leads poverty-fighting efforts to strengthen and empower disenfranchised and marginalized communities. So join me in giving her a warm welcome to the stage, everyone.
Hello! As my father, a social justice leader, a faith leader, and civil rights activist would say to me all the time, freedom is the ability to say no to a lie, to veto an untruth. Freedom is the ability to say no to a lie, to veto an untruth. Our freedom, yours and mine, and our sisters and brothers at the borders and the doorways to this nation, depends upon us speaking up, saying no to a lie, and vetoing untruths. Today and tomorrow, and for as long as it takes, we will come together and we're going to exercise our freedom by saying no to the lies of this administration that have made zero tolerance and the separation of children from their parents a horrific and heartless reality, by vetoing the untruths of those who claim to keep these children separated for our good. To them all, the liars, the deceivers, the baby snatchers, and the fearmongers, we say, you will not harm immigrant children through the acts of separation and let us stand idly by. You will not harm immigrant children and their families by making food supports like WIC and SNAP and healthcare, non-emergency Medicaid, weapons in your war against them. You won't do it and let us stand idly by. We will not be silenced. The more harm you seek to do, the stronger our voices are growing. And we will be there. We will be heard on the streets, and we will be heard at the voting booth, right? Our freedom, yours and mine, and that of our brothers and our sisters, religion, regardless of race, regardless of color, depends on all of us standing up and doing what's right. Thank you.
Let's give it up for our sister. Up next, we have a leader from an anchor organization. Estela Vasquez is the Executive Vice President of 1199 SEIU. Estela has been fighting for healthcare workers' rights and social justice since 1984. She is also a proud board member of the New York Immigration Coalition, so join me in giving her a warm welcome to the mic.
Saludos familia, ¿cómo está mi gente? Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. Is it hot today? So let me tell you something. We have to generate a heat wave across the country, from corner to corner, from sea to shining sea, from the border of Florida to the border of Mexico, a heat wave that will scorch that man sitting in the White House and let him know that we will not stand idle. We will continue to mobilize. We will continue to march. We will continue to protest. We will continue to get arrested until we stop this stupid policy of zero tolerance. We have to generate a heat wave that not only scorch Agent Orange in the White House, but also the Republicans in the Senate and in the Congress. We need to let them know that we are not fooled by the ineffective and phony as a $3 bill executive order that was issued the other day. We need to make it clear that the separation of children from their parents, the incarceration of children, is this any different than what Nazi Germany did in the 1930s? Is this any different than what they did to our Japanese sisters and brothers during World War II? So if there is no difference, we need to make sure that these policies, this crime against humanity, has to be stopped, and it's going to be up to the heat wave we the people are going to generate that going to stop this heat wave. We need to expand. We need to organize in every block. We need to organize in every church. We need to organize in every union hall, in every mosque, in every synagogue, every place of worship, play a word to say and to demand end to zero tolerance. The White House wants zero tolerance. What about zero tolerance for poverty in this country? What about zero policy for police brutality? What about zero tolerance for inhumanity? And what about zero tolerance for racism in America? I would like to end my remarks by saying that the 450,000 members of 1199 SEIU in 5 states are with you today. We will be with you every day, and we will say, the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Power to the people.
Next up, this person needs no introduction. Join me in welcoming Amy Schumer.
Hello, I wanted to come and show my support and thank everyone for being here. We know how much we need to stand together right now, especially on November 6th for the midterm elections. We have to show up. We need to get the word out, or we will be in trouble. Remember election night when we all were ready for such an exciting change? We thought Hillary was coming in. I took an edible that night, okay? I was psyched. And then hell opened up and has been shooting up at us ever since. We need to stand together, and I'm so proud of every single one of us, and we need to keep showing up. And I will be here with you every step of the way, okay? We can do this together, right? We've got this. We've got this. And I want to thank the Amish people for showing up. That's cool as hell. Yes, Amish people. We are with you. It is my great honor to introduce to you Flor Reyes. She's a recent graduate of Lehman College and was a leader with the Lehman Dream Team and Sigma Lambda Epsilon sorority. She is a proud
DACA recipient. Please welcome Flor Reyes.
Good afternoon, Brooklyn! My name is Flor, and I'm a proud Mexican immigrant! Up here with me is my brother Elvis, one of my 5 siblings. And I'm very proud to say that I am part of a mixed status family. But unfortunately, the one thing that has been consistent, the thought that stands in the back of my head every single day is, will my family stay together forever? And that's very unfortunate because that's a sad reality for a lot of people in the world. My brother Elvis is in high school, and in a couple years, he'll be the second in my family to go to college. And just like that, we will be able to continue the legacy of our immigrant communities to prove that we are hardworking people only seeking an American dream. That's how it should be, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Across the state today, there are several marches and rallies taking place in solidarity for the injustices that many, many children are facing. Families seeking relief, not only being detained, but these families are being torn apart. We cannot stand for this. Now, more than ever, we need to support and stand up for one another. My family and I commit to stand up for these injustices. Now I ask you all this. Do you commit to stand up and be there for one another? No action is too small. And for those who... And I'll finish up with this. Shout out to the New York Immigration Coalition, amongst many other organizations who have brought us here today to prove that we will never stop fighting. Repeat after me. Nuestras familias pertenecen juntas. Nuestras familias pertenecen juntas. Now in English. Our families belong together. Our families belong together. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Flor! Next up, I'd like to welcome Carola Bracco, who serves as Executive Director of Neighbors Link. Neighbors Link is a community-based organization serving Westchester County, whose mission is the healthy integration of immigrant families. Neighbors Link provides holistic services to immigrant families and is on the front lines in assisting and advocating on behalf of immigrant families. Carola is also a board member of the New York Immigration Coalition. Join me in welcoming her up to the stage.
Soy Carola Bracco y es mi privilegio estar aquí con ustedes. Soy la directora de Neighbors Link y parte de la Junta Directiva of the New York Immigration Coalition. I am Carola Bracco, and it is my privilege to be here with all of you today. And I'm proud more than ever to serve as the Executive Director of Neighbors Link and on the board of the New York Immigration Coalition. Today isn't about immigrants' rights, it's about human rights. No podemos aceptar lo que está pasando en nuestro país. Este no es un país que yo reconozco. This is not who we are as a country, and it is not a country that I recognize. It has been a difficult time for our neighbors. At Neighbors Link, these past weeks, we have had to help families find their children, and it is disgusting that anyone has to live through this experience. I can't imagine anything more devastating than having your child forcibly taken from you and then searching separately to find your child. La separación de la familia y los campos de detención son inmorales. Pero ya es hora, tenemos que secar nuestras lágrimas y sacudir el miedo y crear un nuevo camino. And I can assure you of one thing, from this chaos, strong leaders are emerging from our communities. Leaders that have a vision and are committed to change the course of our country. Estamos unidos en contra del odio, celebramos el espíritu de nuestras comunidades y quiero reafirmar que tenemos que luchar para la libertad de vivir con seguridad y dignidad. Estamos aquí porque somos más fuertes juntos. Today we're here to fight for our liberty and the right to live with dignity and security. It is my privilege to be here with all of you today. Together we will change the trajectory of this country. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Corolla. I'd like to acknowledge some elected officials who are here with us. Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Congresswoman Clark, Congresswoman Maloney, Congressman Nadler, State Senator Brian Benjamin, New York State Assembly Member Simon, and New York State Assembly Member Carmen de la Rosa, as well as representatives from the New York City Council Speaker's Office. New York City Comptroller Stringer is here with us. Want to shout out the New York City Mayor's Office for helping us with all the logistics of this park. We have the mayor's, the Commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and council members Adonis Rodriguez, council members Jumani Williams, and Carlos Menchaca. And last but not least, Assemblymember Linda Rosenthal. Next up, we have another anchor organization leader coming up to speak to you all. Join me in welcoming Hector Figueroa of 32BJ SEIU. He's the president there, a building service workers union that represents over 163,000 working people and immigrants up and down the East Coast. 32BJ is also a member of the New York Immigration Coalition. Let's give it up for Hector.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Gracias, familia. Today, we are here standing for all of our families, and our families include those who seek asylum in this country, running away from the conditions that our country has created in the first place. Las familias que están huyendo de Centroamérica están huyendo una realidad que nosotros hemos creado con décadas de imposición, de colonialismo, de guerra, y debemos recibirlas como nuestras familias. Our union has about 66% of our members who are foreign born. 2 de cada 3 de nuestros miembros en el sindicato han nacido fuera de este país. So when Trump is attacking immigrant families, he's attacking our families, and we are saying that the labor movement has to stand up to the attack against our immigrant families. They are not them, they are us. They are us. They are us. And as we fight for children, not to be in jail, separated altogether with their families, but free with the opportunities that the ancestors of so many in power today had, we are also saying that we stand for our families everywhere. This doesn't end today. We're gonna fight for our immigrant families that are suffering at the border. We're gonna fight
for our families who have to suffer through the loss of a child, to police brutality, or to street violence. We gotta fight for the families who are living in white suburban America with no hope, no jobs. Those families need to be our family, not Trump's family. We need to fight for all families, and it starts with the immigrant families who are being dehumanized by this administration. Así que, hermanos y hermanas, tenemos que luchar por todas nuestras familias. Now, I want to leave you with a thought, una idea. Imagine what it will be if we were to connect the struggle of all the resistance movement against the Trump administration. Imagine if the labor movement, the women's movement, the fight to stand against system of oppression for our families, those seeking freedom everywhere could come together as a people. As a people. Because our fight is the fight of the people. And the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Ahora, el pueblo unido. El pueblo unido. Let's fight, and let's win. Thank you, everybody.
Let's give it up for Hector. I want you guys to give the biggest cheer you can right now for the marchers who are still on the bridge making their way over. I don't think they can hear you. You can do better than that. Now, I'm excited to bring up Padma Lakshmi. Padma is a New York Times best-selling author and host, executive producer of Top Chef, and an ambassador of the ACLU and co-founder of the Endometriosis Foundation of America. Join me in welcoming her with an amazing round of applause.
Hi everybody, how are you guys doing? I want to thank you all for standing in the hot sun. I want to thank everybody who gave up their Saturday to be here from the bottom of my heart. I am an immigrant. I am a proud immigrant. I came here from India when I was 4 years old. I am the daughter of a single mom who's an immigrant. And I'm also a mother. And all of these things make me sick to my stomach when I hear what is happening at our borders. This is not a partisan issue. It is an issue of common decency and humanity. This is an issue defining who we want to be as a nation. Do we want to be a nation of humanity and compassion? Can't hear you. Or do we want to be a nation who is unfeeling and unjust? No. And I don't care where you come from, even Donald Trump is a descendant of an immigrant. And I think what actually makes this country amazing is that it is built by the labor, the sweat, the tears, the hands of immigrants. It is nothing else. That fact alone is what makes America special around the world. The notion that anybody can come here regardless of their name, their ethnicity, their religion, their sexual preference, their economic standing, and come here and work hard and be a part of our society. That is the country that I'm proud of. That is who I want to be as an American. And I want to thank all of you for coming out. When I fed my daughter dinner last night, and then when I took her out of the bath, all I could think of was, who is bathing those children? Who is feeding that child dinner? What does that child understand? We are sowing generations of resentment and hatred by our actions. That is not the future I want for these children or my children or your children. We have to stand up as Americans and say, no, we will not accept this. We will not accept it. And this is not who we are as Americans. I'm an ambassador for the ACLU, and I'm here. Thank you. Yes, the ACLU is about as cool as it gets. And I'm here to introduce an amazing woman. She's the executive director of the New York American Civil Liberties Union. Her name is Donna Lieberman. And she's one of the nation's foremost defender of civil liberties. Donna Lieberman and everyone at the ACLU are the true heroes, are the true superheroes, fighting every day for your rights and my rights and the rights of everyone, not just the privileged. Through community organizing, through litigation, through legislative advocacy, and public education, the New York ACLU fights for the civil rights of all New Yorkers, and the ACLU has been fighting for all of our rights for 100 years. Please give it up for Donna Lieberman. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. 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 We're here today because families belong together. We're here today because we believe nobody is illegal. We're here to stand up as human beings to the Trump regime and say, not in our name. It's bad enough that those who control our government would turn their back on refugees fleeing violence and death. It's bad enough that they are rounding up immigrants who've been living in this country legally for decades. But I am heartsick, outraged, and frankly incredulous that the country I love so much could commit such atrocities against children, all in the service of a warped, hate-filled agenda. Last week, the ACLU won a court order to end the separation of families and reunite them within 30 days. That's an important victory. But we know that this regime will not comply unless we stand up and say no separations and force them to reunite families, because families belong together. So we're here to say to the President and every member of Congress who is part of his team, and I haven't found a Republican yet who isn't. We're here to say, no! We will fight your ban. We will fight your wall. We will stand together for democracy, and we will take back our country. Our country thrives on love, not hate. Our country is great because of our values and because it was built by immigrants and hardworking people of all stripes.
We will fight back by every peaceful means at our disposal, in the courts, in the streets, and damn it, at the ballot box. We will take back our country. We have to, because somos todos inmigrantes. Somos todos madres y padres y hijos y hijas. Somos todos familias. Somos todos humanos. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. We can and we will. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Donna. New Yorkers, how you doing out there? The sun is beaming, it's giving us energy, right? And also sunburn, but it's still good. I think we can do that better. How are you doing out there, New Yorkers? This is an amazing march and rally that couldn't have been possible without the support of so many partners and volunteers. I want to give a special shout out to the New York State Nurses Association for providing first aid help. Let's give it up for them. Kevin Zambrana Productions for the amazing stage and sound. The City Parks Department for letting us use this space. Citywide Special Events for help with all logistics. The 5th and 84th Precinct Community Affairs Officers. And all the volunteers and all the marshals who help keep us safe. Let's give them a big round of applause. Next up, join me in welcoming Dr. Omalara Owemi Demo, a pediatrician and child health researcher that has worked in sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and Asia for over 15 years. She currently practices outpatient general pediatrics in Queens, New York at Cohen's Children's Medical Center. She is also an assistant professor of pediatrics at the Zucker School of Medicine at Hofstra. She's going to speak on the physical and mental toll that family separation has on children. Join me in welcoming her up to the mic.
Good afternoon. I am the daughter and wife of Nigerian immigrants, the mother of 2 children and the proud pediatrician for hundreds more. Today, I am the voice of the many immigrant children I serve, those who have witnessed gang violence, torture, and murder in their countries, those who have endured rape, abuse, and starvation on their journeys here, those who were stolen from their parents by our own government in less than 8 weeks. 2,342 babies, toddlers, and children. We stand here for the children separated at the border, but also for the millions more who have been separated from their parents right in their own neighborhoods and live in constant fear of separation by deportation. As a pediatrician, we know the devastating consequences of parental loss. We know and we see children unable to control their emotions, living in anger or grief, exhibiting no emotions, and all becoming mere shells of themselves. This is the result of toxic stress, which destroys their brains and can result in lifelong health problems, including heart disease, diabetes, and even early death. But to you in DC, executive orders that force children to be jailed in detention centers with their parents is not a solution. Actually, it's child abuse, and I'm a mandated reporter. So, I'm reporting the U.S. government for continuing their persecution of Black and brown children. I am ready to fight against restrictions on refugees entering the U.S. because families belong together. I'm ready to fight against the increased arrest of law-abiding undocumented immigrants because families belong together. Court says, because families belong together. Are you ready to vote against anyone who supports separation of families or stands idly by and does nothing? As a mom and a doctor, I'm ready to fight with you, and I will never stop fighting for all immigrant families, because immigrant families are American families.
Let's give it up for our sister. As the federal government turns its back on the values we cherish as New Yorkers, we need to call upon Governor Cuomo to ensure that New York does everything that it can. That means we need the governor to raise funding for legal screenings and representation when children and families are here in New York State. We need our governor to renew pro bono legal assistance. We need our governor to raise funding to support mental health and other services once children are released from shelters, to ensure that they receive the critical care that they need to overcome the trauma that they have been subjected to by our federal government. Can I count on you to demand that? I want to give another shout out to all the marchers who are still on the bridge making their way over. Let's give them a warm round of applause entering into the park. As it's been warm today, please take care of the people around you, care for one another, love one another. Next up, I want to introduce and welcome Shannon Stagman, an organizer with Empire State Indivisible, a civic action group that uses the tactics of the Indivisible Guide to defend New York against the Trump administration and those who enable his harmful policies. Let's give her a warm round of applause.
I'm here today to stand in solidarity with my immigrant brothers and sisters. And I want to say a few words to the rest of you allies who are here today. First of all, thank you for showing up. That's the first step. But I'm going to ask you to do more than that before you leave here today. I'm going to ask you to pledge to do more. Those of us who are privileged enough not to be under direct threat from this administration have a responsibility to stand up and show up over and over again for as long as it takes. And I don't just mean showing up at the protests, although that's important. Resisting this administration takes a lot of different forms. We need to be willing to throw our time and our energy and our resources and our bodies into this fight in every way. So don't just protest. Pick up the phone and call your Congress members every day. Don't just donate to candidates. Get out there and knock on some doors. Don't just vote. Help other people vote. If there's anyone here who is not registered yet, there are people in this crowd registering voters right now. Look for the people with the clipboards and get it done today. Now there's one more thing that we can do together while I'm here. In the Indivisible movement, we believe in communicating directly with our elected officials and holding them accountable for representing us and what we believe in. We're in a unique position in New York because one of our representatives is the minority leader of the Senate. Senator Chuck Schumer has enormous power, and he can lead a powerful opposition if he chooses to. All right, so I want to take this opportunity to speak directly to my senator and tell him that I want him to fight for us. Our communities are in danger. Our civil rights are starting to slip away, and the time is now to take a stand and oppose this administration with every tool that we have. So what do you all think? Do you want Chuck to fight? Yeah? All right, so say it with me so he can hear you. Chuck, don't sell us out. We need a fighter to knock Trump out. Chuck, don't sell us out. We need a fighter to knock Trump out. Chuck, don't sell us out. We need a fighter to knock Trump out. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Shannon. Now I want to welcome to a fierce youth organizer. So when she gets up here, I want to hear you guys be as loud as possible. Louder than you've been the entirety of this time. Ready? Her name is Perla Lopez Libertado. She is a youth organizer at Make the Road, New York. She grew up in Puebla, Mexico, and emigrated to the United States when she was 10 years old to reunite with her mother and siblings. And now is the time to make that noise you promised. Go for it.
When I say people, you say power. People. Power. People.
Power. Good. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone here for being here today. Your presence is super important, especially at this moment. As person mentioned, my name is Perla Lopez Liberato. I am a youth organizer at Make the Road, New York. I migrated from Mexico to the United States along with my brother when I was 10 years old in order to reunite with my mother and my siblings that were here already in New York. My mom, a badass and powerful woman and a single mother, had no choice but to migrate to the United States to be able to support her 5 children and later on bring us to reunite with her in New York. Unfortunately, when we were coming to the United States, my brother and I were detained by immigration and were taken to a detention facility in Phoenix, Arizona. I was about to turn 11 years old at a time, and instead of being with my mother, I spent my birthday in a detention center. It's been almost 10 years since I was detained, but it has been one of the most traumatic moments for me as well as for my mother. Today, watching the news and thinking of the moment I was detained reminds me of how scared and lost my brother and I were while we were in the bus. It also reminds me of my mother and how frustrated and afraid she sounded every time she would call while we were detained. It makes me think of the many parents and children that are in the same or even worse situation than my family was. It's really upsetting and heartbreaking to see all these children being separated from their families. At this point, these children don't only have to deal with the trauma of crossing the border, but being separated from their families and being put in detention centers. Although this issue has caught a lot of media attention right now, it's important to remember that traumatizing children, putting them in detention camps and separating from their families is not something new. From Native children in boarding schools to enslaved children taken away from their moms in Japanese internment camps, this is this country's history. Are we going to stand in the right side of the history today? This administration needs to stop traumatizing our children. We're calling to abolish ICE, an agency that was created to target and criminalize our communities, and it has turned into a vehicle to separate our families. Once again, ICE must be abolished. But also, if you want to stay updated, fight with us, everyone to take our phone, and I would like everyone to take off your phones right now. Por favor. And I would like y'all to text ROAD, R-O-A-D, to 52886 to stay updated. And again, it's ROAD to 52886. 52886. Now I'm gonna do a call and response. When I say chinga, you say la migra, okay? Chinga!
La migra!
Chinga!
La migra!
Chinga!
La migra!
Gracias.
Let's give it up for Perla. We've been out for a very long time, and as long as we've been standing here, shockingly, we still have people on the bridge. So, we are gonna give them the biggest welcome ever. So you can clap, throw your fist in the air, whatever you wanna do. But I want you to be as loud as possible so that they can hear you. Are you guys ready?
You gotta be loud, everybody!
Are you ready? All right, so what we're gonna say is this is our New York 3 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3. This is our New York! This is our New York! This is our New York! Give it up for yourselves. Next up to close us out with some chants, we're bringing up Irma back to the stage. And a couple more youth organizers are going to help lead some chants. I'll come back up with some final words. Thank you.
Hello. Ready? Yep. Okay, you guys are going to repeat after me. I am somebody. And I deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. Okay, ready? Again. Louder, guys. Come on. I am somebody. And I deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. Okay, we're gonna do a different one now. Okay. My mom is somebody. And she deserves full equality. Right here. And right now. My mom is somebody. And she deserves full equality. Right here. And right now. Thank you.
All right, folks. How many people remember the 4 action items I told you in my earlier remarks? I am. So for the people who missed them, we need you to continue to commit to come out and fight, because this administration is going to continue to attack us. So we need you to do these 4 steps. First step, stay up to date. Policies change quickly. Crises arise overnight. We need you to take out your phones and text NYIC to the number 864237. You're texting NYIC to 864237 for our action alerts. Step 2. Call your congressional representatives and demand an end to family separation and incarceration. Step 3, support organizations on the ground, donate, volunteer, and show up every time we see injustice. And last but not least, step 4, remember, make sure you are registered to vote and go out to vote this November and elect state representatives and members of Congress that share our values. Thank you to everyone who came out today, and thank you to the marchers who are finally getting off the bridge. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Give it up for MC Murata with everybody. Now we know folks were just coming off the bridge. I'm gonna invite some young people to close us out in power with some incredible chants. They literally just got off the bridge. So for folks that have been in the park, I want you to stand on your feet. I want you to welcome these young people from Atlas DIY. Please come to the stage. And I want you guys to put your fists in the air, hold up your signage, and give these young, directly impacted people all your love and attention as we close out our program. Empower everybody. Make some noise.
Y'all ready? I want you to repeat after me. Ready? Y'all ready? Up with liberation. Down, down with deportation. I want to hear everybody in here turn up. Ready? Up with liberation. Down, down with deportation.
Down with deportation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down with separation. with deportation.
Down, down with deportation.
I can't hear you. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, up with liberation, down, down with deportation,
Down, down with deportation.
Now we're doing that status quo. I want you to repeat everything we say. Y'all ready?